Bal Afterlife. The trope is the worst Bal Hell. If you were ever banned from Bal for a very bad reason, for example trying to destroy Bal, you would end up at the trope. Whenever you die in Bal and the Bal gods decide you have been very bad with Bal, then you will spawn in the afterlife outside of your house at midnight. Then this grey, broken down, abandoned bus comes to pick you up. You then get on the bus and then it takes you to the trope. Once you get there, the trope looks like a very grey, rusty box facility building with no windows. There is also a fence guarding the entire building. Inside of the fence, there is a very muddy field surrounding the building. Inside of the muddy field, there are zombies coming out of the ground. If you look on top of the trope, you will see a massive fish named Scieunnsouee. On top of Scieunnsouee is a random small pumpkin. When you enter the trope, you will be greeted by a 30-legged 5-year-old named Scieunnsouee. Scieunnsouee has a chair to hit you with when you walk in. Whenever you walk in, there is a woman named Mrses.JgrueeenoueLeeaghfe. Mrses.JgrueeenoueLeeaghfe has a fish that she hits you with whenever you walk in. Then there are poop torture devices that force feed you poop for 10 years straight, non-stop. At the end of the 10 years, Mrses.JgrueeenoueLeeaghfe and Scieunnsouee guide you outside so you can meet the fish Scieunnsouee. Scieunnsouee then eats your soul, then spits your soul out, and your soul is left as a zombie in the mud field. After Scieunnsouee eats you, there is literally eternal nothingness. You have no more soul. The TIOPE is basically a lighter version of the trope. It is less brutal, but it is still extremely brutal. Basically, the only visual difference from the TIOPE and the trope is that on the TIOPE, the fish on top of the building has 2 heads. The Main Bal Hell is divided into 4 parts. The first part of the Main Bal Hell is a long hallway filled with water with a bright light at the end. This part is the purgatory. You walk toward the light at the end of the tunnel. If you have been good with Bal, then the light at the end of the tunnel transports you to one of the 5 Bal heavens, but if you have been bad with Bal, then a door closes at the end of the tunnel, stopping you from going to Bal heaven. Once the door shuts, a Bal demon comes to transport you to either the trope, the TIOPE, or one of the other 3 sections of the Main Bal Hell, the second section of the Main Bal Hell. There is a puddle at the end. No one knows where it leads to. At a random time, a Bal demon runs from the end of the hallway to take you into the puddle, the third part of the Main Bal Hell. There isn't much to see. There are some islands with water, and the Bal demons kind of just forget about you there. You're basically stuck there for eternity. The 4th part of the Main Bal Hell. At the beginning of the tunnel, it starts not muddy, then the mud slowly becomes more and more muddy and mushy, to the point where you can't even move your feet. After you can't move your feet anymore, a Bal demon runs down the hall and captures you. At the end of the tunnel there is light, but it is supposed to trick you into going down so your feet get stuck in the mud. The Long Tunnel Bal Hell. The Long Tunnel Bal Hell is located right by the Main Bal Hell. If you have been bad with Bal and you get sent here, there is a half-a-mile long sewage pipe. There is light at the end of the tunnel that you might think is Bal heaven, but the tunnel is actually infinite, so you can never reach the light at the end. The 3 Bal in-betweeners. One thing that all of the in-betweeners have in common is that there is a Shrek in everyone. If you haven't been very good with Bal, nor have you been bad with Bal, or if you don't really know what Bal is, then you go to one of the 3 in-betweeners. In all of the in-betweeners you have access to all of the Spencer Creek Park, except you spawn at the in-betweener you are assigned to at a certain time to do your task for Shrek. If you fail to do your in-betweener task for Shrek, then the next day you teleport to a random Bal Hell. In-betweener 1, the first in-betweener is known as Shrek's Swamp. Here you spawn at the in-betweener at 7 AM and 7 PM so you can make coffee for Shrek. Here the Shrek is an adult. In-betweener 2, the second in-betweener, is known as making energy for teenage Shrek. In this in-betweener, you spawn at your in-betweener every day at 5 PM to move a stick so teenage Shrek can get energy to watch TV. In-betweener 3, the third in-betweener, is known as swinging on the swing set with baby Shrek. In this in-betweener, there is no specific time that you have to do your task. It's random, but whenever you teleport to do your task for Baby Shrek, then you have to swing on a swing set with Baby Shrek for 1 hour. The 4 Bal Heavens. The 4 Bal Heavens are, if you have been good with Bal. The first Bal Heaven is the Bignette Goose Pond by Keith's house. The second Bal Heaven is Spencer Creek Park. The third Bal Heaven is all of St. Peter's City. The fourth Bal Heaven is the best Bal Heaven, but it hasn't been discovered yet. Not even the Emperors of Bal know what the fourth Bal Heaven is. And that concludes the journey through the Bal Afterlife. Whether you end up in one of the Bal Hells, the In-Betweeners, or the Bal Heavens, your fate is sealed by your actions with Bal.